Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the Spiffing Brit, and today you join me in the fantastic game that is Total War 3 Kingdoms. My goodness, this game is absolutely smashing it at the moment. I mean, it's just so fun. You sit down, you play, and then suddenly you look at the clock and you wonder, where has all the time gone and what happened to the British Empire? But nonetheless, it's a fantastic day to be playing Total War 3 Kingdoms, and here I am today, mostly because so many of you on the last Total War 3 Kingdoms video were so excited to see it again. So here we are, but this time with some even better exploits. Last time I showed you how to basically cheese every single multiplayer game you ever did. Yes, that exploit's still in the game. Yes, we're in version 1.1 now, but hey, you know, can't patch everything, can you? And with that same logic, there's still a few exploits that I'd like to demonstrate to you today, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness, it is most spiffing indeed. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let us dive into this video. Make sure you're first sat back, relaxed, you're nice and comfortable, because what a wonderful wild ride we're going to be having today. You're going to definitely want to be sat back with a nice cup of tea, because my goodness, there's some very strange things happening today in this world. So, firstly, what do you want to do? Well, we're going to hit new campaign. That's right, you can have your own new campaign, and you can pick from any of these fantastic people like Cao Cao or Sun Jian. Bearing in mind I have no idea who any of these people are because I have no clue about Total War 3 Kingdoms lore. The only thing I do know about is how to absolutely cheese games. Heck, you can even play as He Yi or Gong Du. Oh, lovely people. Nonetheless, we don't want any of these fantastic characters. No. We want someone who's hard, someone who's a challenge like Mei Teng. Oh, look at this guy. Starting situation hard. Oh, goodness. What a challenge it's going to be, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that's where you're wrong. Turns out it's not going to be hard at all. So why are we going to be playing as the fantastic Ma Teng? Well, it's because he has a very special little character and faction. His starting situation, whilst it is hard, is exceptionally unique because he is in a prime location of real estate. I mean, around him is literally just free real estate. He's surrounded by like yellow turban rebels. That's so easy to invade. It's fantastic. And to his left, he's got a lovely little friend called Han Su, and to his right, he's friends with Daddy Dong himself, the massive chunky overlord. I mean, I say overlord, he apparently is meant to be evil, but it doesn't really matter. What does matter, however, is that this faction has some very unique features. Our faction's specialization is, of course, that armies can forage for food. When encamped, they can increase military supplies, and their playstyle focus is entirely cavalry and military supplies. And we have some very special, unique units, 3 to be more precise. We have the Quang Hunters, who are horse archers and very special. They're available to any of our generals, provided they're rank 3 or higher. Then we also have the Quang Marauders. These guys are even more special, and they're available for all characters rank 1 and higher. And then we also have the Quang Raiders. These are melee cavalry, available to all of our heroes rank 5 and higher. And as you might notice, they all are absolutely special as they have fatigue immunity. Fatigue basically means when your warriors are fighting, they're going to eventually get tired, they're going to want to sit down, but because these guys are so unique, for some reason they are infused by the power of Yorkshire tea gold itself and can just go forever. I'm imagining kind of like the horses riding around, and on the back it just has a little kettle and a perfectly balanced teapot, and that's what they run around with. I mean, the archers themselves, the like bowstring itself is probably made from the nice little tassels on the tea bags. Oh, that would be fantastic. Anyway, so Ma Teng has access to some fantastical cavalry. He also has access to a special line of buildings, and he is loyal to the Empire. Other than that, he has some extra special bonuses, and these are his character specializations. The fact that he gets plus 10% melee damage for shock and cavalry, he receives plus 100% income from silk and spice, and minus 15% upkeep for Quang units. That's right, all of his own special units here today, he receives minus 15% cost when it comes to actually upkeeping them. That's their monthly day-to-day running costs. I mean, it takes a lot to run an army. When we were playing Rome 2 Total War, remember, we managed to get the costs really low, never quite to 0, although it is possible, but you do eventually reach a point where you're just paying your army on promises of payment. But nonetheless, we're going to just quickly start a campaign as Ma Teng. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, in the fantastic game. Whilst you can see that this entire map is huge and it's literally the entirety of China. See, over here we have Korea, and then down here is Taiwan, and I guess over there is Japan somewhere, but we're only interested in a very small portion of China, and these are areas of China containing a special region. This is a horse pasture, ladies and gentlemen, a very unique little building. There are only 4 regions in the entirety of China which can build horse pastures. There's one here, a second one there, a third one there, and finally a fourth one is situated right over here, the other side of the mountains. And it is going to be our mission to collect those horse pastures. And you might be wondering, look Spiff, okay, why do you want to collect the horse pastures? The Qiang horse units are already 15% cheaper. How much cheaper can they get, and why would you want a horse pasture? Well, that's because horse pastures are very unique. As we can see, just having one of them reduces the recruitment cost of cavalry units by -5% and the upkeep of cavalry units by -5%. However, at the final level, it reduces the cost by 20%, meaning the upkeep of our horses and our Qiang cavalry is reduced by not only -15%, but it's increased to actually -35%. Quite good indeed, almost half the upkeep. However, if you then pick up this horse plantation here, and this horse plantation over here, and then finally this one over here, you might notice that suddenly you've stacked 4 times the 20% discount on horses, meaning horses are 80% cheaper to purchase and 80% cheaper to maintain. Well, this is where things can get very awry, because you can also decrease it even further, ladies and gentlemen. I know. You see, down here in the tech tree with barded mounts, the recruitment cost for cavalry sinks even more into -8. Then you've also got hierarchical enforcement, so that's where you can have an extra army and all of your units go down 10% in terms of upkeep. So yes, today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be demonstrating to you how you can give yourself a completely free army, and by goodness is it fantastically fun. Now immediately, as part of your opening moves, you simply just want to move to the left and just start invading the Yellow Turban lands and just settle up a nice little power base over here. But remember, you don't actually need to expand that far. It's not really in your imperative to get too wacky and out there. But certainly for the time being, you can just attack them, and I mean, it's like a tutorial zone. You just simply delegate it. Wabam, easy victory. Fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. And then immediately after defeating that stack, you want to run on down here to Wudu, a fantastic little town, and lo and behold, again, ladies and gentlemen, just simply delegate it and get a nice easy victory. There we go, fantastic. The settlement is now ours. And of course, all of your opening moves are to just simply upgrade all of your horse pastures. If your ally over here is the one to colonize this horse pasture over here, because this isn't even a settled area, you actually need to send just a random dude over there with like a stack of 4,000 gold and he'll colonize it. If you're the ones to do that, then fantastic. If it's one of your allies or a different empire, then it is in your best interest to just simply pay them something absorbent like 20,000 gold and then just have them hand over the land to you. Anyway, that's your first opening move, and from here on out, you're pretty much given free reign of literally everything. The Yellow Turban army, which was hanging around your settlement, will run away, and all you need to do is simply sit yourself in your brand new town and just fill up your army with a ton of units. Now, I mentioned that the Qiang units are absolutely fantastic, and that's because they just are. Their one issue is how expensive they are to buy. Look at this guy, the Qiang Marauders. Now, the Qiang Marauders are basically a replacement for the Raider Cavalry, and as we can see, they have a slightly improved 1 extra morale. Then the next number is their attack power. They basically swing for a hit of 334 instead of 169, meaning they effectively do double the amount of damage that the standard Raider Cavalry does. They also have well over double the armor, and the only thing that they are lacking is that they are ever so slightly slower. Now, I do love the Qiang Marauders, and they are fantastic. However, they are actually the weakest of the Qiang units, if you could believe it, with the best one being these fantastic Qiang Hunters over here. Now, these Qiang Hunters are medium bow cavalry. These are simply meant to be archers, and they are also one of the fastest units in the game, and they also have the single largest range capacity of any unit in the game, where they cap out at 250 range. And I will have to explain to you, ladies and gentlemen, a bit later on why 250 range for a pair of horse archers is stupid and completely overpowered. I mean, look at the archers over here. This is a normal group of archers, archer militia. Their range is 200. The cavalry have an extra 50 meters range over the regular archers. This creates a bit of an issue because these horse archers actually have a further range than even turrets. Like actual massive mounted wall turrets, which are meant to outrange everything in the game, have less range than a bloke on the back of his horse with a tiny little bow. I just don't know what they were thinking here. But the Qiang Hunters are also even better because they do more damage. They are also one of the fastest units in the entirety of the game, and not only are they fantastic at archery, they are also absolutely sterling melee fighters. The joy of the Qiang Hunters is that you can have an entire army comprised of only them, and they will run around outrunning everything and outranging everything. They will fire off all of their arrows, and then what you can do is you can send them in to manually fight everything else that remains, because lo and behold, they're fantastic in melee combat. They are one of the most broken units I've met in this game, and by goodness are they fantastic. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, the thing holding them back is they're just so expensive. I mean, look at that, 160 gold to upkeep, 2,000 gold to purchase. We just can't afford it. Instead, we're just going to have to buy the cheap archer militia, as it's ridiculously cheap. But nonetheless, you basically started out with a perfect new army. What you want to do from here on out is to basically run around grabbing up all of the lands of the Yellow Turbans, then picking up a few of the settlements over here, and if you can, start expanding in this direction. And as soon as Dong over here dies of, I don't know, stage 17,000 diabetes, then what you want to do is just beeline into his nation and grab the Emperor. Now, you might feel a bit scared to do so because as soon as Dong dies, basically a massive civil war happens and you will become at war with a lot of people if you say you're going to grab the Emperor. But if you grab the Emperor and you say you're going to grab the Emperor, for some reason they are too busy to actually even stop you. So what I did was I just got a single general with a small group of spearmen who ran over there and just starved out the city. Then as soon as you grab it, the Emperor becomes yours, and everyone you were previously fighting suddenly becomes a vassal of yours, and peace is had across the land. It is one of the strangest mechanics I've seen, but hey, that's Free Kingdoms for you. But nonetheless, this is basically how you start out, ladies and gentlemen. You want to slowly expand and grab all of those fantastic horse settlements. But what happens when you eventually grab them all? Well, ladies and gentlemen, instead of having you sit down and watch the various 100 or so turns it took me to grab all the settlements, I will instead jump to the lovely final golden point where I got all of the settlements up and running. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. I've jumped into the midpoint of the video when you were least expecting me, and of course I'm here today to remind you about the fantastical beverage that is tea. I mean, have you ever given it a try? Oh my goodness, it's fantastic. You know you want to. Join us. Join the dark side. Join us! But of course, yes, tea is absolutely lovely, and I'm here to remind you not only to drink tea, but if you are one of the greatest people in the world, and I know you are, I know you drink tea, you're fantastic. You want to know what makes you even better? Someone who likes the video. Oh, they're just amazing, aren't they? Absolutely wonderful. I salute you. The Queen salutes you. And also, the person who sent in an A3 portrait of the Queen, which is now actually hanging above my computer. It is huge and fantastic. Thank you to whoever sent that in as part of the fan mail competition. But I'm also here to ask you, what would you like to see next? And also, what beverage are you drinking? Is it tea? Is it a different kind of tea? But also, would you like to see Heroes of Might and Magic 3 next? Or would you like to see Kenshi? Or, I don't know, something completely different? It's all up to you. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I trust in your judgment and that it will be fantastic. And so I will leave you to enjoy the rest of this video because, yes, we have some horses to multiply. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, goodbye for now. And go get that cup of tea. So here we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We are in about turn 80 of a random campaign of Total War Free Kingdoms, where as you can see we did the classical thing, we grabbed the Emperor, and as a result the entirety of the Han Empire became our vassal. Admittedly the Han Empire is just absorbed by everyone, but they're pretty chill about absorbing all of your vassals as long as you're pretty nice. And what we've done is we've grabbed all of the horse pastures in the game. We have the one we start out with, then we colonized this one over here, leveled them all up to level 5, we traded for this one over here, we purchased it off of someone, and then we slowly fought our way up to this region here, and then we traded for this horse pasture over here with the lovely faction that was holding it. So there we go, we basically got half of the horse pasture in the game by just simply trading for them. Oh, and also if you want to rush the construction of stuff to get these horse pastures up and running, you can just whack on an instant construction, and there you go, horse pastures complete. But now what happens if we want to say buy a unit or an army? Well, here is the fantastic Ma Teng. Him and his army, they've been doing a lot of fighting, and suddenly we're ready to recruit a horsey to fill up this slot. Well, when it comes to recruiting horses, something interesting has happened. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, you will remember a few moments ago to buy these Quang Marauders would have set us back around about 2,800 gold. Now they cost nothing. Their upkeep is also nothing, and yes, these are the best cavalry units in the game, better than all the other ones around them. Why is this the case? Well, they're just completely and utterly broken. But also, if you have a general who, remember, is level 5, they can start hiring the Quang Raiders. The Quang Raiders are even better. Look at these guys. They have a morale of 45, their melee charge bonus is 275, their melee attack rate is 45, which is almost double the Quang Marauders. Oh, they are are absolutely fantastic, and they also have fantastic missile defense. If they're getting shot at by ranged units, they have a 65% chance to block all of the missiles coming their direction. And lo and behold, they're free. Oh, I'd love where we've taken this. So yes, we have created the perfect army, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen. It's lovely. But of course, let's say you get attacked by someone quite spontaneously. You weren't expecting it. You need to defend yourselves. Like, say, I don't know. What if, say, Han Sui over here, your trade partner, suddenly turns his back on you and he wants to take your horse pasture? Well, don't worry. He'll give you 1 turn's notice. He'll basically declare war on you, and then typically the AI attacks the turn after that, giving you 1 turn to raise up a ridiculous army. Because what you can do is just hit raise army here and just buy some random cheap generals, you see. It doesn't really matter which ones you buy, as we're going to create something fantastic. So we're going to buy Sang Yan, because he's only 1,000. Then Cheng here, who's only 200, nice and cheap. Who else is really lovely and cheap to buy? Sim Ya, he's quite cheap as well. Fantastic. So we have 3 lovely little generals here, all of which have some cavalry and some standard archers. But that's not really what we're looking for here today. We instead want to make them an army fit for fighting off everyone. And so in that case, you just want to literally flood their army with some Quang Raiders, and then as these guys can't recruit the Quang Raiders, just get them recruiting Quang Marauders. And this lovely general, he's super high level, so he can actually recruit these lovely guys, the Quang Raiders. Good stuff. But in the meantime, I'm also just going to grab some horse cavalry, and all of these standard archer militia that came with our army. No, that won't do. Instead, you just want to swap them out for actual cavalry units. We have no need for real archers, we simply want horseback archers. They're much more fun. So here we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We have added another army into our mix. This is an entire full army we've picked up this turn. And how much is this army costing us in upkeep? Right, so in upkeep, for the entirety of every single turn it exists on this battle map, it's going to cost us 14 gold. 14 gold. That means this silk trader over here, giving us 763 gold, can pay for this army how many times? How many times? Let's do a quick calculation, ladies and gentlemen. This single silk trader can support this army 54 times over. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, these aren't bad units. They're fantastic. They'll even win sieges for some reason. I have no idea why, but if you're ever in a siege, what you do is you just swap out 2 of these horses for, I don't know, 2 trebuchets, and you can get through just about anything. It is physically impossible to lose. Oh, and also we're making a ridiculous ton of money from this. I mean, just look at what we have. We have 7 armies active in the world. 2 of them cost us absolutely nothing. 1 of them cost us 14. Another cost us 412. 1 cost us 214. And then this army up here cost us 2020. And it only cost us that because we're using a ridiculous amount of trebuchets, because trebuchets are also very broken. What a world we live in. What an absolute world we live in. But I would like to demonstrate the power of just how fantastical this army up here is. This is the best optimal army build in the entirety of this game. It costs you 2020. Normally an army build like this, if we hadn't done the exploit we've done, would cost us an extra 2,000. So basically we've halved the cost of this army, and we filled it with some of the best units in the game. But the exploit that I'm going to show you just now, and why this is the best army in the game, is to do with 1 group of heavy spear guards. For this build to work, you need 1 heavy spear guards, as many trebuchets as you like, and then just a ton of cavalry. So I'll load up a quick save, ladies and gentlemen, where we're about to attack someone, and you can see just how overpowered this army build is. So a bit later on in a campaign, you find yourself in front of a city that you'd like to attack. Well, next turn we're going to attack this city, and I will demonstrate to you, the lovely ladies and gentlemen at home, how even though this city is going to display itself as a defeat for our army, this is the best army composition build, and we physically can't lose. Anyway, so let's end this turn, and next turn we'll be off for a fantastical attack. So this army is pretty much overpowered because it can move really quickly, really far, and has the ability to instantly siege down settlements. So what you want to do is this level 5 city, yep, this is a level 5 city, pretty fancy. As we can see, if we were to attack it now, we'd get a Pyrrhic victory and apparently medium predicted casualties. But what we're going to do is we're going to set it to a night battle, and even though they have an extra 1,000 men than we do, we're going to start this battle off right. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, the game predicted medium levels of casualties. So for me to simply demonstrate the power of this, all I need to do is just not do that many casualties. So here we are in the game with this fantastical settlement for us to invade. Now, as this is quite a high-level settlement, this settlement has the ability to actually summon trebuchets, I know, so they're going to probably place down a trebuchet wherever they have one of these areas. I'm not really a big fan of trebuchets as they can be very annoying, so what you want to do is just simply deploy on a section of the wall where they can't deploy a trebuchet, like, I don't know, this random gatehouse over here. So we're going to deploy our entire army positioned right here. What you want to do is select all of your trebuchets, group them up, and just line them up right at the front. Don't worry, the AI is never going to actually rush out to take them. Oh, and make sure you set all of your trebuchets to flaming round, because flaming round, it is the most overpowered feature this game has. It's crazy. It does morale damage, it does explosion damage, it has crazy range. Oh, it's fantastic. I love it. Anyway, what you then want to do is get your spear infantry all lined up and put them into turtle mode. And then when in turtle mode, spread them out and get ready to advance them basically as soon as the game starts. Then you want to select your fantastical cavalry and get all of your ranged cavalry nice and lined up and line them up behind the turtle formation. And then what you do with the rest of your cavalry, it's up to you. You don't really need to do anything if I'm honest. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen, let us begin. So the battle will begin, and naturally the AI is smart. It will deploy facing towards you, and they are in a good position, as you can guess, ladies and gentlemen, mostly because they have 3 towers on their side all facing towards us. Now these towers are amazing. If these towers were to hit any one of our units, they'd wipe out several of them in one go. If they were to hit a trebuchet, they'd shatter the trebuchet instantly, and that's a huge loss for our army. But what if there was a way around it? Well, allow me to demonstrate. We're going to march forward all of our fantastical turtles. Now these turtles are special little units because for some reason when in the turtle formation these spearmen receive 500% charge resistance and 100% ranged block chance, meaning if they are hit by anything they have a 100% chance to block it, the exception to this being trebuchet bolts. But the enemy only has 1 trebuchet and they've positioned it on the wall over here, meaning it can only shoot in this direction, so it's no threat to us. But anyway, you know what, it started, so let the trebucheting begin. And here come the first few volleys of trebuchet fire. Oh, and there we go, we've just killed 20 men instantly. Here they come. I love the trebuchet. It's fantastic. It just shreds through armies, and also it sets fire to everything. So there you go, another volley of trebuchet over, and suddenly their best unit, their infantry captain, is looking a bit worse for wear. Now our lovely turtle formations are now within range of these towers. You see, if we didn't have them in the turtle formation, we probably would have lost about 70 men by now, because these towers are absolutely shredding them. However, in the turtle formation, you'll notice no damage is being taken. So yes, now we're in range of the actual peasant archers on the ground. They're also going to shoot at our lovely heavy spearmen, but the heavy spear guards, once again, 100% range block chance, they can't be defeated. Oh, and those stuff we were shooting the trebuchets at, yeah, they've all completely routed. They can't stand up to what we were doing. So here we go. Basically, we're in a situation where the AI is just standing around waiting to get hit by massive flaming balls of fire, whilst my lovely spearmen soak up all of the enemy's ammunition. Now you see, these lovely archers are actually really effective. They're fantastic at defeating just about everything. However, they're terrible in melee combat and they have a limited supply of ammunition. As you can see, this army is down to 56% ammunition. Surprisingly, we've lost no one. Absolutely no one. Yeah. And whilst they're busy shooting our spearmen, the enemy AI, for some reason, similar to very old RTS games, is coded in a way that they will shoot the unit which is closest to them, meaning these fantastical ranged Krang hunters, they will never be hit, provided the spearmen are standing in front of them. Oh, I love this game. Anyway, Great Balls of Fire continue. Now, for the time being, I'm just going to halt all of our fantastic, lovely trebuchets, and away the cavalry goes, as the cavalry is now able to shoot, whilst the archers aren't able to shoot back, because the AI is too busy sinking all of their arrows into things they can't even defeat. I mean, just look at this fantastic turtle formation we have. But one thing that's even more impressive is that the fire archers that we have, these lovely little fire horses, they have a little bonus, meaning they can shoot fire arrows, and you can shoot fire arrows at the towers. Yes, that's right, these fantastic towers. Normally you'd think you'd have to lob a trebuchet at them to defeat them. No, if you shoot flame arrows into them, they will just set on fire and destroy themselves. It's amazing. Anyway, as you can see, most of the archers are running out of ammunition now, and we've also managed to simultaneously burn down all of the archer towers. Fantastic. Now, some of our poor horses, yes, they have sadly run out of ammunition, but don't worry, they will just go into melee mode and they can fight at a wonderful rate. Oh, these fire arrows are doing fantastic work. But also, I forgot, yeah, we still have a lot of trebuchet ammunition left, don't we? Right, trebuchets, away we go. Lob those balls in. Oh my goodness, what a successful battle this is going to be. Oh, it's going great. Right, any horses with spare ammunition, just hit their cavalry over there. So there we go. The enemy's towers are mostly being shredded up now. They've lost all of the towers on their front line here. Meanwhile, we're just setting fire to their horses. Now, in my many efforts to basically strive to having no casualties in this fight, what I'm doing, instead of actually sending in any of my horses or very high quality cavalry, just to prove a point, I am only going to send in my general Marteng, and he is just charged into the enemy spearmen who are perfectly designed to defeat him, and they're just going to run away instantly, especially if we activate our negative morale modifier and just lob in a couple of trebuchet bolts. There we go, that entire army is now routing over here. Fantastic. Oh yes, we're actually going to be able to do it. 0 casualties. Fantastic. Oh wow, the trebuchet crew actually just routed away from the trebuchet. I've never seen that happen before. What is going on there? I think we've done it. I think that could be a victory. Wow, the game really is stuttering. I think it's struggling to comprehend what's happening here. Oh wow, it really is. It's slowly dying. There we go, that's a victory right there, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness, what a situation we find ourselves in. And of course, when you have a fantastical victory like that, you can just charge all of your cavalry in to mop up all the kills. Oh my goodness, what a game. So there we go, a perfect victory, a decisive victory. Remember, the game said Pyrrhic victory with moderate losses. Well, today, ladies and gentlemen, we just won a siege with no losses at all. Oh no, ladies and gentlemen, oh no. Lost 0. Oh goodness. Oh my, oh my, oh my. So yes, we're just going to occupy this. Heck, we could sack it for 8,000 gold and then just run in the next turn to steal it. Oh yeah, right. We're just going to occupy it. I don't want to sack it. Oh, fantastic. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is Total War 3 Kingdoms, how to cheese the game. But there's another exploit, ladies and gentlemen. Of course there is. I'm the Spiffing Brit. There's always another exploit to be had. And this very special exploit is to solve the one limitation of our current exploit. Yes, we have a free army and can raise free armies that are fantastic. Let's say we've raised this fantastic person here. Well, they're great, and by great I mean pretty cheap. And of course we can fill them up with fantastically free cavalry units, the best kind of unit in the game. But what is the one major restriction of this fantastical feature? Well, it's the fact that we have a limit of the amount of armies we can have. We only allowed 14 armies running around the map at any one time. At the moment we have 12, if you can believe it. 12 horse-based armies running around, costing us practically nothing, effectively recreating the Mongolian Empire. But what if there was a way to have more armies? Well, the easiest way to having more armies is to either research it in the reforms, but even then there's a limit on the amount you can have, or in the court section, have another administrator. Administrators are fantastic. They give you +1 extra armies, they give you extra money, they give you extra everything. They are perfect. Absolutely perfect. However, there's a limit on the amount you can have. You're only allowed 5 normally. There is, however, one exception. A empire called the Yellow Turban Rebellion have access to a special building, whereas we, a fantastical normal people, can build a palace, which gives us 30% income from all sources and 30 prestige. The Yellow Turban Rebellion instead build a Yellow Turban Palace. One of the features of the Yellow Turban Palace is to have +1 administrators. Now, the Yellow Turbans can't get our incredible free horse units, but what we can get is their +1 free administrators. And the reason why is because whenever a rebellion fires in this game, a Yellow Turban Rebellion is formed. The Yellow Turbans will come into the settlement and replace all of the settlement buildings with their own buildings, meaning if you build a palace here, they will replace it with the Yellow Turban equivalent of a palace. Oh no, indeed, because this can be exploited quite heavily. Allow me to jump to a different save file to demonstrate this. So here we find ourselves a few turns later when I've unlocked the ability to build the palace. Now, building the palace, very easy, wabam, it's just done. Fantastic, we now have a strong economy, but most importantly, you want to now incite a rebellion. What's the best way to incite a rebellion? Just quite simply charge them taxes and build this lovely building, the Royal Administration Office. Anyone can build this. Lowers public order by 8. It's fantastic. So this lovely building, giving us taxes, racking up a lot of unhappiness, is perfect. What you want to do is just build up a nice army, situate it away, and wait for the rebellion to fire. So I'll hop back to you, ladies and gentlemen. gentlemen, once the rebellion's fired. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the rebellion has fired. The fantastic yellow turbans have laid siege to our wonderful imperial city. If you want to speed up this process a bit, you can just hire a random character level 1 and have them surrender the city to the person sieging them. Requires a little bit more setup, but it only costs you about £1,000, and for the payoff you get from this, it's very much worth it. I mean, money has lost all meaning to me at the moment because all armies are free. So here we are, the lovely little yellow turban rebels are laying siege to the city, and I'll jump back a few turns later once they've actually won the siege for the city and have taken control of it. So here we have it a few turns later. Once the yellow turbans basically took the city, we came in with 2 fantastic armies and just absolutely annihilated them out of the place. Now, because they took control of the city, as you can see, they swapped out all of our lovely buildings with their own versions, like they replaced our tax collecting offices with debating pavilions. Debating pavilions. Come on, people love tax. Why would you want a debating pavilion? So what you want to do is instantly convert that, and wabam, we got our tax offices back. But the building that they left us with, which is very impressive, the Yellow Turban Headquarters. Very unique. This lovely bad boy provides +1 available administrator positions. And even though we don't actually have access to this building because it's not part of our faction, we're able to keep it and use its effects, meaning if we go to our court here, we have a spare administration position. Wow. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, a spare administrator position means another army. So we're just going to grab Gui P here, or whoever he is, and just lob him into the administrator position. Fantastic. And we'll just put him in control of one of our random settlements. Remember, by doing this as well, he's also going to make the settlement much better. Now, ladies and gentlemen, he has become an administrator, and that's fantastic. But what if I told you that this process can be repeated? Let's say you want to keep that building there, that's fine. You can build another palace at literally any different city. Say this city here, we've got another palace slap bang right here. We can incite yet another rebellion over here. The rebels come in, swap over all the buildings. We come in, defeat all the rebels. Lo and behold, we get another administrator position with another available army. More available armies, more unlimited free horses. Oh, it's just a cycle of life. But of course, if for some reason you don't actually want that building there, you decide, hey, it's not for me, I don't like it, I'd like another administrator, then don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, simply convert it away from being whatever it was, convert it into literally anything else, and of course by getting rid of that, we get rid of one of our available administrator positions. However, we don't really, because the administrator's already been hired, so he's already got his job. And what's even more interesting, ladies and gentlemen, is if you fire off the revolt again, and of course it will fire off in just 2 more turns, we'll get another rebellion, they'll come in, replace it again, and for some reason in my testing, you get an extra administrator position, but instead of it saying, okay, it's now going to be 7 out of 7 administrators, it becomes 7 out of 7 administrators and gives you an extra slot to hire another, so you can make it 8 out of 7 administrators. Oh goodness. And you can farm this repeatedly, ladies and gentlemen, constantly. You can be repeatedly farming this until you have 40 administrators, 40 unlimited free horse armies running around the map, setting fire to all of China, drinking all of the tea. And that today, ladies and gentlemen, is why Total War Free Kingdoms is a perfectly balanced game with no exploits whatsoever, excluding free horses. Horses are broken. Bugger me sideways with a tea bag. I think I'm now broken. And of course, as always, a massive thank you to all of the patrons, especially all of you new ones. We've had quite a large influx of brand new patrons, so hey, thank you, welcome. I hope you have an absolutely lovely time. Make sure to try out the Patreon-only Minecraft server that we've got running in the background. Anyway, thank you very much, as well as also all of you fantastic people buying the merchandise. Merchandise, in my opinion, it's not really ever, in my opinion, ever going to become an income stream for me. It is simply about just knowing that there are fantastic people out there looking very nice and jazzy in a very nice line of Spiffco merch. Oh, what a fantastic video it's been today, ladies and gentlemen. If you have enjoyed what you've seen here today, then make sure to give the video a like. It would absolutely mean the world to me. Thank you very much. You have a huge amount of thanks from me. And also, if you're wondering what video to watch next, then look no further than this one on screen now. Trust me, it's going to be right up your alley. Anyway, I've been the Spiffing Brit, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see all of you in the next one. Have an absolutely lovely day, and goodbye for now.